Hey everyone, Joe here. I hope you've been enjoying the short reels I've been creating on my social accounts, the political points of view, the calling people out on their nonsense. I've been getting a lot of good feedback, a lot of bad feedback, a lot of strong opinions, which that's perfect. That's what I want. I want that discussion, the back and forth, good, bad, and everything in between, because that is what our government and country was built upon, right? Open discussion. Doesn't matter what your opinion is, but we're getting to a point that it's reaching critical mass, right? Because you got people on both sides that are holding so strong to their beliefs that they're actually changing their beliefs and not even realizing, right? You've got you recently you had with the ICE issues in Minnesota, where you had Democrats fighting for guns rights and you had Republicans voting or putting it out there that no one should have been carrying a gun. It's you're literally watching it in real time. They're swapping their beliefs. It's actually quite amazing. Whoever deep state whatever group is behind all this, their marketing team, they are a genius because you've gotten both parties to ultimately switch sides. But this whole us versus them mentality, you're the enemy, left wing lunatics, right wing extremists, like you can't be using these terms and then expecting us to work together, right? There's only so much you can insult your coworker before you can't work with them anymore. And we need to come back. And this is the crazy thing to me is that I would say 80% of the American population votes with the wind, right? And what I mean by that is that they're going to vote Republican or they're going to vote Democrat. They don't always vote the same across the board every year or every presidential election or congressional election, because they may have something that may be directly affecting them at that time, and they may vote Democrat, and then there's something they feel passionate about the next time, and they vote Republican, right? But you've got 10% of extreme Democrat point of view and then extreme Republican point of view that making most of the noise. That they're the loudest. They're the ones that are getting the hits. They're the ones that are getting people to pay attention for the news to show you. Therefore, social media is showing you, and your algorithm is always either negative or against the opposite side of what you believe. And then with AI, you have no idea what's real or what's fake anymore. So I wanted to start talking about, because I'm someone who have been a registered Republican since I'm like not physically registered at 8, but I have had those core Republican beliefs since as far as I can remember. Smaller government, low taxes, secure border, strong military. These are the basic things that I believe in, that I think are, not to say right, but that's what I think the original founding of the country was. But that's just my opinion. But that doesn't make your opinion, that might be slightly different than mine, or maybe even polar opposite of mine, wrong. But we got to figure out a way to work together. And that communication is completely broken down. And that's the scary part, and that's the concerning part. So what I want to start doing with these videos is just start pointing out the things that should be going, or what the original intent were. I shouldn't say should, but the original intent were, and where they are, and start talking about hot topics. Like, I mean, I briefly brought up the ICE issues, which Kristi Noem apparently was just let go of her position, or will be like being let go of her position. But then there's a new, I don't know, some made up envoy for her to take over. So I guess she can use her police to go. I don't know. Whatever. Um, but now there's going to be Mullen, I think his name is going to be taking over, but he doesn't seem to be any better. So it should be interesting. I hope he does a good job. I don't ever pray that someone does a bad job, because if they do a bad job, then we do a bad job as a country, and then it directly affects us. But the big issue now is this Iran war, not war, right? Because, well, here's the thing: technically, Congress has to declare war, but the president has the authority to fight a said war up to, I think, 60 days, and then can get like a 30-day extension. After that, he needs congressional approval. So this should be interesting, because Iran is not backing down. And I honestly think that this Iran war, not war, is something else to cover something else up. What? I don't know, because obviously I'm not in those inner circles. No, none of us are. But to be negotiating with Iran, and then all of a sudden, again, they come out and say they were weeks away from having a nuclear weapon. They've been weeks away of having a nuclear weapon since I was like 8. I'm 40. Like, they either have the worst scientists in the world, or we're being lied to. Now, every government lies. We're not meant to know the truths of everything. But when we're being told a lie, and then that lie turns into another lie, and then we're being made to feel like we're crazy, that's a whole different level of mind games, right? I mean, I'm picking on the Trump administration because he's the president, and my views have kind of changed, you know, on how to navigate and point out certain things. I was always voted right, voted Republican, across the board, criticized the Democratic Party for what they were doing, and now I'm just seeing the potential of what could really go wrong, and that's what kind of scares me. And I think I just need to be more open-minded to have discussions. I'm not saying I'm changing my beliefs, but like I need to be able to call out my own side when I don't agree with what they're doing. And it is just getting a little hectic. It's getting a little scary because we are, the Trump administration campaigned on a few things. One of them was no new wars. Is it no new wars that were started before you, and now new wars starting under your administration is okay? Or is this to, I'm not making any accusations. I have no proof except the fact that there is a bill that's out there to extend the president's term to a third term, not necessarily specifically for Trump, but just in general. But it was put out when he was president, so you can kind of make the connection there. Now, as the war started, so we can slow down or stop the midterm elections, which has never happened. An election has never been stopped. 9/11, that it went on that year, the Civil War, both world wars, we've never not had an election. So why all of a sudden was it so pressing? And now gas prices are going up. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, it's gone up 20 cents in my area. We were under $3. We're over 3 now per gallon. So there's a lot to unravel, a lot to unfold. I want to start talking about these issues and just point out that both parties, while they sit there and say the Republicans, they're bad. The Republicans will be like, the Democrats, they don't know, how to identify themselves. It's a game. Whoever is controlling these people, which is special interest groups, foreign interest groups, very wealthy business owners, those are the ones that are controlling the narratives. And we just need to start opening our eyes to it. Honestly, I think there should be an amendment, or there should not an amendment, that's too complicated, but there should be some law that says that if you receive X amount of dollars, and I'm just going to throw a dollar amount, $5,000 more from a company, you need to wear their fucking logo on your suit. Like, this is NASCAR now. We need to know who's sponsoring you, because then we need to know who you're really fighting for, because it's not us. They like to put it out there that it's for us. They package it in pretty little bows and make it seem like, it's for the American people, but it's really for a special interest group. So I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying seeing this ugly mug and hearing my opinion. And I love hearing yours, regardless of what you think of the situation, what you think of my opinion or anyone else's opinion. We need to have open discussion, because this is what this country was founded on. And these are just going to be short videos, but hopefully I can make them longer as the times get more interesting. So hopefully you're having a great day, and I will talk to you soon.